All right, guys, so this is our quick math review from your work yesterday. This is what your screen looked like for yesterday's work. You were supposed to watch the video for, let me pull it up, for understanding and identifying parallel and intersecting and perpendicular lines. And that was us going through all of that work. And then you should have watched the second part of that, which was us continuing the work and identifying the sides and the shapes there. Um, our work today is also going to be reviewing part of that, so this will be a good review for you. And then additional video that you could have watched, which I hope you did, was going through identifying these and analyzing these different types of polygons and putting X's based of what the answers of the questions were. And then you had the opportunity to do a geometry flip book here. And this is what this looks like. You clicked on make a copy and give it a second to load. There we go. All right. And then it gave you different types of models. And then you could describe line AB and line DC. So this would be line segment AB and line segment DC. So this would be here and here. And you could have said that those are parallel because they are running opposite of each other. They will never touch. BE and BC were here and here, and those would be intersecting because if you extended those out, those would be touching. So those were some different shape examples that you could have gone through and created a flip book on. And if you haven't, you can still go back to the slide and do those things because it's a really good practice for you to understand what was going on. All right, then you had an independent practice in which you were supposed to identify the types of lines. So this would have been perpendicular because this is a right angle and this is a right angle and this is a right angle and this is a right angle. So that would be perpendicular. Okay, going down, identify these two shapes. Let's see if I can get this to erase. Maybe not. All right, we're going to move on. Okay, so these two, if we extended those up, those would end up crossing and they would not make right angles, they would be intersecting. The next one, these are running side by side, they're never going to touch. Those are parallel. Same thing here, even though this line is smaller than this line, they're still running side by side. They are never going to touch, those are parallel. All right, if we were to extend this one down, from here down, this would create right angles, so that would be perpendicular. These are crossing. This is obtuse, and these are acute, so that would be intersecting lines. Okay, if we extended this one over and extended this one down, these would end up crossing, creating intersecting lines. It says, which pair of lines does not represent a pair of intersecting lines? And your answer would be A, because those lines are never going to touch. Okay, remember, perpendicular lines are still intersecting. The only thing that makes them more special is that they are creating those right angles. All right, and then you have which pair of lines does not show parallel lines, and that would be this one, because if you continue to draw this up, and this one straight up, they would end up crossing. Those would be intersecting. Which set of lines does not represent perpendicular lines? If you extend this over and this down, that's going to create those right angles. Those are right angles. Those are square corners. Those are right angles. This is the only one that's going to create those acute and obtuse angles. So your answer would have been B for that. All right, guys, remember, if you haven't had a chance to go through and do that flip book and watch that additional video, you have plenty of time. It would be a great thing for you to do and practice on. I might give you some extra dojo if you can turn it in. Don't forget to be working on your AM and extra math because I'm also checking those daily, okay? All right, if you have any questions, contact me.